Yeah, I think the phrase he used, a false choice, is definitely a sentiment that was felt by many workers and young people in that second round. But Macron did win in the end, but he did so on a very weak basis. So I want to ask Nico, what do you think's in store for the next 5 years? Do you think the far right will continue to grow, or are there big opportunities for the left, or both?
First of all, taking into account the abstention, Macron was elected with only 37.9 of the registered voters. He is therefore the most poorly elected president of the Fifth Republic since 69, just after Pompidou, again 1 year after May 68. The president's legitimacy is even worse because 42% of its voters said they did so to block Le Pen. This reduced the pro-Macron vote to only 15.9% of the population. Macron now claims that he has understood that his second term must be more social and ecological. He will surely try to buy himself a semblance of a progressive image by appointing a prime minister with a very relative social, feminist, and ecological thin credibility. He may index low wages and pensions, but basically his policies will continue to favor the rich, and he will go deeper into authoritarian policies. Just a few days after the second round, on the 1st of May, demonstrations in France gathered around 200,000 people, included 50,000 in Paris alone. This demonstration, and also the score of Jean-Luc Mélenchon in the presidential race, illustrates that the potential for social response is really significant. Mélenchon called to remain mobilized in the perspective of the legislative election in June for an electoral third round and to impose an alternative majority of deputies to apply another type of politics by uniting behind La France Insoumise under the name Union Populaire, Popular Union. The Green Party and the Communist Party have accepted this dynamic. The PS has invited itself into the discussion, and there is a trap. It's a danger. We have seen in Greece how the PASOK, the former members of the PASOK, have joined Syriza after the total collapse of the PASOK, and clearly the PS is totally collapsed with less than 2% in the first round of the election. There are, however, huge tensions at work within the PS and the Greens. It's not impossible that their leadership and the right wing will leave these parties. We will see that for the next couple of days and weeks. There is enthusiasm and hope based on Mélenchon's successful campaign in the first round, and there is a way to build struggle on this. But this is precisely a weak point of this campaign. Mélenchon, during the presidential race and also in the course of this legislative campaign, give the idea that the election of many left-wing deputies will spare the need to fight. And not only there will be a necessity to fight against every Macron attempts to attack workers' rights or to implode, to force progressive measures, but it's also the best way to keep the opportunists of the PS and elsewhere out of the dynamic, to be involved in the working class and in the youth and in their struggles. And in fact, now the necessity is to build a balance of power, certainly in the legislative election, but really linked and above all in the workplace, in the schools, universities, and in the neighborhood. With the help of trade unions, left-wing organizations and associations, it is necessary to build a consistent balance of power in the streets and in the workplace in order to succeed in imposing even these limited demands of the Union Populaire and to face the reaction of the ruling class, which will do everything in its power to prevent a real left-wing policy of rupture. And it is above all in the streets that victories can be achieved while using parliamentary platform and the media visibility that this offers as a support force and a support force only. In such a bold struggle around social economic demands, we will be able to destroy the breeding ground for the far right and move towards what is objectively necessary to face the various perils that confront us, and that is the construction of a democratic socialist society.